各位记者朋友，下午好，欢迎出席外交部例行记者会。首先，我要发布一则消息：全球发展倡议5周年高级别会议将于7月28日在北京举行。中共中央政治局委员、外交部长王毅将出席高级别会议并致辞。会议以全球发展倡议5周年再出发，构建可持续发展的美好未来为主题。联合国高级官员、全球发展倡议挚友小组成员国驻华使节、联合国发展系统驻华机构代表、知名专家学者等中外嘉宾将出席会议，围绕全球发展倡议的落实成效、合作重点及其世界贡献进行深入交流。下面请大家提问。
China News Agency.
The 48th session of the World Heritage Committee, UNESCO, added China's Jingdezhen handicraft porcelain industry sites to the World Heritage List. What's your comment on that? Last Saturday, in Busan, the ROK, at the 48th session of the World Heritage Committee, the Jingdezhen handicraft porcelain industry sites was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List, bringing the total number of World Heritage sites in China to 61. Jingdezhen handicraft porcelain industry sites are a group of heritage sites representing the handicraft porcelain industry that developed in Jingdezhen from the 10th to the 19th century. The property exhibits the innovative development of China's handicraft porcelain making technology, porcelain art, and porcelain industry, and evidences the profound impact of China's handicraft porcelain industry on the development of the world's ceramic industry and the exchanges of mutual learning among civilizations. The committee spoke highly of the authenticity and integrity of the sites and commended the policies and efforts made by the Chinese government in the preservation and management of the heritage sites. In 2023, during the inspection trip in Jingdezhen, General Secretary Xi Jinping noted that ceramics are a Chinese treasure and symbol of Chinese civilization. He called for making the millennium-old porcelain capital shine even brighter. The inscription is a vivid example of how the Xi Jinping thought on culture and Xi Jinping thought on diplomacy are implemented, and how China puts into practice its people-centered development philosophy. It also demonstrates the strong recognition from the international community on China's efforts on world heritage preservation and development. The inscription is not the purpose of heritage preservation, but a new starting point to enhance the inheritances and development of cultural heritage. China will work with the international community to act on the Global Civilization Initiative, observe the Convention concerning the protection of world cultural and natural heritage, actively participate in the global governance on world heritage, and contribute China's wisdom and strength to exchanges and mutual learning among civilizations. Next one, please.
Thank you, spokesperson. Question from Reuters.
路透社关于越南货船在南海沉没，中国和越南双方是否正在进行救援工作，以及这一事件是否导致中国和越南在南沙群岛有更多的领土主权和权利的矛盾。
On July the 25th, a Chinese rescue vessel Nanhai Jiu 115 spotted and rescued 29 crew members of a distressed Vietnamese ship in waters near Nansha Qundao. The Chinese side immediately sent out several vessels and a helicopter to continue search and rescue operations. As of now, the Chinese side has rescued a total of 47 Vietnamese crew members. After giving medical attention to those injured, the Chinese side transferred all rescued personnel to the Vietnamese side. The Vietnamese side has expressed thanks to the Chinese side. We have learned that the Vietnamese vessel was carrying 62 crew members when it sank on the night of July the 24th. As some members remain missing, the search and rescue efforts are still ongoing. On your second question, the Chinese side immediately started rescue operations upon learning the Vietnamese vessels in distress. The Vietnamese side has expressed thanks to the Chinese side.
下一个问题。
Next one, please.
谢谢发言人波浪通讯社。
Polish press agency. China's Ministry of Commerce last Friday announced restrictions on a Polish company and University of Science and Technology without providing any evidence about the restrictions. China always states that it opposes politicizing technology, education, and trade-related exchanges. Is the move itself politicizing academic and trade interactions between China and Poland and putting pressures on others?
On specifics about export controls, I'd refer you to competent authorities. Let me stress that China's measures are a response to the EU's erroneous move of listing and sanctioning Chinese companies. The measures do not target any specific country. Next question.
Thank you. In Kyrgyzstan, the foreign ministry
在吉尔吉斯斯坦，白俄罗斯和中国的外长签署了中白两国外交部磋商的计划，并且进行了会谈。中方对于双边接触常态化有何评论？
Under the strategic guidance of President Xi Jinping and President Alexander Lukashenko, the China-Belarus all-weather comprehensive strategic partnership has achieved profound development, and the two sides maintain close exchanges at various levels. China stands ready to work with Belarus under the fundamental guidance of the important common understandings between the two presidents to further advance the robust bilateral relations. Next question.
谢谢发言人澎湃新闻提问。今年上半年，中非
The paper, China-Africa trade in the first half of 2026 was remarkable thanks to the zero-tariff policy for all African countries having diplomatic ties with China. What's your comment on that? China-Africa trade in the first half of this year achieved many highlights. First, faster growth in total trade volume. China-Africa two-way trade totaled 1.41 trillion RMB, hitting a record high year-on-year, and is expected to reach even higher by the end of this year. Second, trade structure has been improved. Capital goods and intermediate goods account for 75% of China's exports to Africa, which are productive inputs for Africa's industrialization and agricultural modernization rather than for consumption only. Third, greater potential in Africa's export to China. Following the zero-tariff policy was rolled out in May and in June, China's imports from Africa reached 193.8 billion RMB, up by 23.5% year-on-year. African dried chilies, coffee beans, cashews, and wild aquatic products now enjoy unified regional market access. International trade is a two-way street. There's no forced trade. Trade imbalance narratives are merely traps designed by those with ulterior motives aimed at disrupting friendly cooperation between China and Africa. As the world grapples with spillover of regional hotspot issues and rising unilateralism and protectionism, China remains firmly committed to expanding high-level opening up through its zero-tariff policy and shouldering responsibility as a major country, which has been widely welcomed and commended by African countries and beyond. going forward will further enhance trade facilitation between the two sides, take concrete steps to open our market to more quality African products, and inject fresh impetus into building an all-weather China-Africa community with a shared future for the new era. Next one, please.
Thank you. Question from NHK.
日本广播电视台，刚才你提到王毅之前，王毅外长在马尼拉的时候，并没有会见日本的任何高官。中方能否提供相关的背景信息？为什么会没有相关的会见安排？
I've answered this question before. I can confirm this with clarity that in Manila, Foreign Minister Wang Yi does not have a meeting with Japan on his agenda. There is no short talks on the site. Next question, please.
大家还有其他问题吗？
Are there more questions? Now, I would like to conclude today's press conference.